have had several roles in life. Woman, mother, model. How do you then fuse that into who am I? Senses have taken an important place in my life. At this particular stage, I think a lot of my senses seem to be heightened, but the smell is still sort of catching up. Moving to Africa is the start of a whole new chapter for me, and perhaps also for a whole new smell. Having Tam Frazer walk into my life at that particular point, now was exactly the right time.
So Anna, what inspires you about living here?
I grew up in a big family. I suppose I started out in the womb, sharing it with my twin brother. And I think I always felt like I needed space. I've got a long love relationship with lavender. My granny used to have, you know, like little lavender bags in the underwear.
So you have a memory associated with it?
I think, yeah.
Like a positive impression
a good
from
one.
your past. So tell me about citrus. Do you like the smell?
Gosh, I love it. I had a very citrusy but sort of young smell for a long time. And I keep almost wanting to go back to it, but I've grown up and I've grown out of it. That needs to mature.
We talk about smell and memory and how closely they're linked. What is your first scent memory?
I remember a mowed grass very clearly. There's a lot of grass in Holland.
And was it a positive
Yeah, very
experience?
positive. Yeah, it was the smell of summer, which meant actually freedom, you know. It was 6 weeks of freedom.
And would you say you're an extrovert or an introvert?
Probably both an introvert as well as an extrovert. An introvert with an extrovert skip. Probably quite old-fashioned in smell.
So traditional?
Yeah. I think even in the way I live my life, certain things, the red threads are actually quite traditional.
In the world today, we live such fast lives and we quite rarely think about living in the present. What is it that anchors you?
Within the sort of loudness of the world, find a moment where you actually, you know, just stand still, just pause.
When we consider your career, it's really interesting because there is a relationship between you and your body. It is your craft, you're a model, it needs to perform. So would you say then that you're separate to your body?
I had to come to terms with that. I think it used to be further away from me than it is now.
These are sort of the technical elements when it comes to making a fragrance, so we've got a bit of inspiration. But now we want to talk about your skin in terms of the science of it. This one is licorice. I think it's an interesting way to start because it has a flavour more than a fragrance.
Yeah, sweet with a sort of, kind of almost that coffee bitter undertone. It's got a sort of unexpectedness to it.
This next one is sandalwood.
It actually takes me to my husband's studio. I think that's beautiful, actually.
I'm always amazed by how much both of us put into this journey of discovery, that it's not just about scent, that it ends up being far more. A lot of people aren't ready to go on this journey to look within. I think it has to do with a time in your life where you want to live consciously. It becomes a very intimate metaphor, talking about smell, talking about scent, and talking about emotions. It's this unknown, this alchemy that happens when I'm composing a fragrance, that every possibility is available to me. One drop can completely transform the juice. It was incredibly interesting working with Anna because so many things surprised me about her. There is a contradiction in her, there is a complexity to her that I want to try and find. Anna lives a nomadic life, and having a fragrance that can remind her where her family is will ground her. When it touches her skin and brings all of those raw materials to life, that for me is the alchemy of bespoke.